In the sleepy suburb of Willow Creek, where manicured lawns whispered secrets of petty rivalries and every mailbox bore the weight of neighborhood scrutiny, I never imagined my morning trip to the post office would erupt into a showdown worthy of a reality TV special. But there I was, clutching a stack of bills and catalogs, when a shrill voice pierced the air like a siren. "That's my mail. Hand it over right now." I turned to see her Evelyn Hargrove, the self-appointed queen of our homeowners association. Her face twisted in righteous fury as she jabbed a manicured finger at the counter. Little did she know, the postmaster behind that counter was no ordinary clerk. He was my father, retired but filling in for a friend. And he was about to deliver a package of karma she wouldn't soon forget. It all started 3 months earlier, when my family moved into the cozy 2-story on Elm Street. We'd escaped the city's hustle for what we thought was tranquility, but Evelyn, known to all as HOA Karen behind her back, had other plans. She patrolled the streets like a hawk, her clipboard ever ready to note violations. Our first infraction? A welcome mat that was one shade too vibrant, clashing with the neighborhood's approved palette of neutrals. She slapped a fine on our door before we'd even unpacked the last box. "Standards must be upheld," she'd sneered, her pearls clacking like judgmental teeth. My wife, Sarah, and I tried to laugh it off at first. We were in our mid-30s, with a rambunctious 5-year-old named Tommy who thought rules were suggestions. But Evelyn's meddling escalated. She complained about our recycling bins being unsightly on pickup day, even though they were identical to everyone else's. Then came the petition against our backyard swing set, claiming it disrupted the aesthetic harmony. The woman had turned our dream home into a battlefield. What really set her off, though, was my father. Dad Harold Jenkins, a grizzled veteran of the Postal Service with 40 years under his belt, had retired 2 years ago, but couldn't stay away from the mail. He volunteered at the local post office occasionally, sorting packages and chatting with old-timers. He started forwarding his pension statements and hobby magazines to our address to make visits easier. "Saves me a trip," he'd grumble. Though we all knew he just wanted excuses to drop by for Sarah's apple pie. Evelyn, ever the snoop, noticed the influx of mail addressed to Harold Jenkins. She must have peeked at our mailbox one too many times illegal, sure, but who was going to call her out? Rumors swirled that she ran background checks on new residents, and soon she was convinced Dad was some shady figure squatting in our basement. "I've seen him coming and going at odd hours," she hissed at a HOA meeting, "probably evading taxes or worse." The absurdity was lost on her. Dad's odd hours were his fishing trips at dawn. Tensions boiled over when Evelyn started intercepting our mail. Not literally at first. She'd corner the mail carrier, demanding explanations for packages. Why so many deliveries to the Jenkins household? She'd interrogate poor Mike, who stammered apologies before fleeing. One day, a certified letter for Dad arrived, something about his veterans' benefits. Evelyn, spotting Mike on his route, blocked his path with her SUV. "That letter looks official," said for the elder Mr. Jenkins. "I demand to know its contents. It's a matter of community safety." Mike, bless him, refused and delivered it anyway. But Evelyn wasn't deterred. She filed a formal complaint with the post office, alleging suspicious activity at our address. The postmaster at the time, a harried woman named Linda, dismissed it, but Evelyn escalated to the regional supervisor. "Identity theft is rampant," she wailed in her letter. "We must protect our seniors." That's how Dad ended up behind the counter that fateful morning. Linda was out sick, and the office was short-staffed. Dad, ever the helpful soul, volunteered to man the fort. "Just for a few hours," he said over breakfast at our house. I nodded, grabbing my keys to run errands. "Pick up my mail while you're there, son. Got a new fishing catalog coming in." The post office was a quaint relic, with faded posters of stamps, and a bell that tinkled like an old friend. I arrived just as the line formed, oblivious to the storm brewing. Evelyn burst in moments later, her heels clicking like gunfire. She'd clearly timed it, perhaps staking out the place. Spotting the stack of mail being sorted, including Dad's catalog and a few letters, she zeroed in. "Excuse me?" At Dad, shoving past an elderly couple, That pile there, it's addressed to Harold Jenkins. I represent the Willow Creek HOA, and we've had reports of mail fraud at that residence. I demand you withhold it until I can verify the recipient. Dad, in his crisp uniform shirt, peered over his glasses. He recognized her instantly from my stories, the pinched face, the aura of entitlement. But he played it cool, shuffling papers. Ma'am, postal regulations prohibit me from discussing or releasing mail to unauthorized parties. If you have a concern, file a report. Evelyn's eyes narrowed. Unauthorized? I'm the authority here. That mail is going to a house under investigation. The owner of that young upstart is probably stealing his father's identity. I've seen the comings and goings. I'm handed over, or I'll call the police. The room fell silent. Patrons shifted uncomfortably. Sensing the drama, I froze in line, my heart pounding. This was escalating fast. Dad's face hardened, years of dealing with difficult customers flashing in his eyes. He set down the stack with deliberate calm. Ma'am, let's clarify something. That mail you're demanding? It's mine, Harold Jenkins. That's me. Retired postman, father to the young upstart you mentioned. And if you think you can waltz in here and violate federal law by tampering with U.S. mail, you've got another think coming. Evelyn blinked, her mouth agape like a fish. Out of water, yo? But you're the postmaster today. Temporary, Dad corrected, his voice booming now. And as such, I can assure you this mail is legitimate. Now step aside before I cite you for interference. Title 18, U.S. Code, Section 1701, obstruction of mails, up to 6 months in jail. Color drained from her face. Whispers rippled through the line. Did he just say that? HOA lady's in trouble now. I stepped forward, unable to hide my grin. Dad, everything okay? Evelyn whipped around, recognition dawning. This is a conspiracy. I'll have your HOA membership revoked. Dad leaned over the counter, his tone laced with steel. Lady, the only thing getting revoked is your sense of entitlement. Now, get out before I call the real authorities. Sputtered, clutching her purse, then stormed out, the bell clanging like a victory gong. The room erupted in applause. An old-timer chuckled. About time someone put her in her place. As the crowd dispersed, Dad handed me his mail with a wink. Told you fishing catalogs were exciting. Word spread like wildfire. By evening, the neighborhood buzzed. Evelyn's reign of terror cracked. Residents shared stories of her overreaches, emboldened to push back. At the next HOA meeting, she faced a mutiny, motions to limit her powers, even calls for her resignation. Sarah and I hosted a barbecue that weekend, Dad the guest of honor. Tommy swung on the illegal set, laughing freely. Evelyn drove by once, glaring from her window, but she didn't stop. Her demands had been silenced, at least for now, in Willow Creek. Peace returned, fragile but sweet. And every time I checked the mail, I smiled, remembering the day a retired postman delivered justice, one snap at a time.